Now, let's get this started. Just give it a few more, couple of minutes. I think I need someone to write us a very catchy jingle for the time we start a new Zoom YouTube. But I think we'll just start now and people can join as we go along. Hello and welcome everyone to this second installment of Artist's Career with Sofia Nowakowska. This session is called How to Promote Your Work. And the first one, How to Present Your Work, is available on our YouTube channel, Visp Kunst. It should be under live or in Norwegian, Direkte. Sofia is an independent curator, artist manager, and an art critic with a master's in curating contemporary art from the Royal College of Art. Her work ranges from exhibitions to panel discussions and workshops, all aimed at fostering communication with audiences and supporting emerging artists. I just want to say before we start, for real, is that you can ask questions as we go along in the chat button. It should be on the bottom on your screen. There's also a possibility to ask in the Q&A, or if you're feeling adventurous, press the raise hand and you can ask the question verbally. Yeah, Sophie, how's your week been?
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm now actually, is it recording now? Because I heard that.
It is live on YouTube, yeah, but it's not being recorded on the Zoom thing,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I had a very nice, quite busy week because, as you said, I'm an artist manager and I'm currently working with 7 different artists. So it's quite a lot, but yeah, I also have someone who's helping me. So this other person is taking care of my admin while I'm taking care of someone else's admin. Yeah, but yeah, I work on quite a few different projects. And with 2 artists, I'm working on their artist books, and then with 2 of them on their solo exhibition. So yeah, so I had a quite busy week, but yeah, well, I really enjoy my work, so so that's that. Okay, yes, I'll share my screen now. Yeah, so today we're talking about yeah, how to promote your work, and yeah, last week we discussed the effective strategies or for how to present your work, and in the first part of the lecture I talked about well the importance of preparing like the essential materials, so the bio, the artist statement, portfolio, catalog, website and social media. And then in the second part, I talked on, well, I focused on the practical tips on how to show your art effectively in the exhibition spaces, but also slightly introduced alternative venues. Yeah, so today I will tell you also, yeah, some practical tips on how to promote your artwork at the exhibitions and then social media. But before that, I will explore. Yeah, before I explore these promotional strategies, I will talk about something that many of us fear, and I also sometimes have the same problem. So we'll talk about networking. Um, Yeah, so as probably you have some experiences and like success in the arts, very often depends on who you know, and like building the genuine connections can really help advance your career regardless of your background. So if you wish to connect with someone influential in your art, I think it's crucial to become consistently visible and memorable to this person through various interactions. Uh, and I would say rather than focusing on presenting your art and promoting your art and exhibitions, I would say that placing greater emphasis on promoting yourself as a person and as a professional might be even more important. So like the relationships in the art world are built on trust and very often likability. And I think as everyone, you prefer to work with someone who you trust, and who you just also like personally. So I would say that showcasing your personality and values and story can often like resonate with people even more, rather than just when you meet someone then just straight away showing their your portfolio. Yeah, connections are I would say very important. And then very often, so when I for example have an opportunity to organize a show, um, I may know, a lot of artists who are addressing the same projects, the same themes in their work. But yeah, very often when I know and when I can trust someone that they will actually deliver what I'm asking them, then most often I will actually, like choose working with them. However, that's not always the case, but just I think yeah, knowing people really helps. But then I would say yeah, be curious. That's one of the most effective ways of developing meaningful relationships, just by being curious of what other people do. So demonstrating sincere interest in others' work and asking questions and actually showing that you're very enthusiastic about what they do, that can really help you develop the relationships. And very often people really appreciate when their efforts and passions are recognized. So that always helps, like when you're just not faking to get opportunities, but when you're actually very interested in what they do. uh, so this strategy, yeah, do 100 coffees challenge. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but basically the idea is that no, the challenge is designed to encourage individuals to meet and have a coffee, or like even an informal conversation with 100 people. So the goal is to have one coffee every week with a different person, to expand your professional network, build relationships, or like even gain the mentorship, and perhaps because of that also yeah, have new opportunities. So I would say like make a list of 20 to like 30 people who you'd like to connect to, but then like be quite realistic in terms of like don't put perhaps like Beyonce or like Barack Obama on your list. Like be quite realistic, but also like look for people in your community that might be like more experienced, or that whose practice interests you. Like a lot of them will say that they don't have time, but I would say that well, I've met a lot of people who were just helpful and who were happy to share their knowledge and skills with me. Yeah, so I would say yeah, try to have one coffee per week with one person. And even if you don't have even if you don't manage to yeah, make that coffee with someone that you're very interested in, like just even go for a coffee with your friend and talk about your art. That always really helps to also have other people views on your practice and then what you can do later on. However, also, so I did my BA in fine art in Cambridge, and then I moved to London to do my master's in curation contemporary art, and I didn't know anyone, and but then I was also, you know, researching a lot, mostly curation, and I wanted to learn more about people who work in this field. So I found that when you actually ask person to for an interview, it's more likely that they will agree to it. So I would say, like, even if you're not going to publish this interview anywhere, I would say that, yeah, ask for the interview and then say that it's for your research. Um, and yeah, and very often do people agree to it. You know, they do like to share about what they do, but the interview is like a way more this professional and formal way of connecting together. Um, and then yeah, have business cards. And I know that, you know, although the business cards are not as used, you know, as they used to be before the internet. But personally, I experienced a few situations where the individuals were holding like very high positions, like different companies or museums, or they were from like the older generation, and they didn't use social media. So to me, I felt that I wasn't, you know, prepared, or that I wasn't professional, just because, you know, like I yeah, for example, I didn't have a piece of paper to write my email. So I would say that it's still very useful to have business cards with you, especially if you're connecting with people on the higher and the higher positions. Um, and this is also something that really worked for me. So you participate in panel discussions with at least three questions prepared in advance. Yeah, so I would say that if you want to connect with someone, go to their talks and presentations. And the reason why having three questions prepared in advance is very often there isn't actually time to answer three questions during the Q&A session. So because of that, you might have, you know, the opportunity to go after the talk to this person and then say, oh, actually, I have some more questions, like, can we connect somehow, or can you please yeah, meet with me for the interview. And then very often they say, oh yeah, like I don't really have time now, but like let's connect on the Instagram or LinkedIn, or they might give you an email. So yeah, I would say always have at least three questions prepared in advance when you go to panel discussions. And that's actually something that recently my friend told me. Yeah, we're talking about how sometimes it's awkward to go to a private view or an event and you don't know anyone over there. So she said that to like break this awkwardness, she just decided to set a goal for herself. You know, like you just have to go over there and talk to one person, and that's completely it. Then you can leave. But very often, when you do actually talk to this one person, you might be introduced to another person, or the conversation might be, you know, actually interesting. Yeah, so yeah, no, that's the goal. And even, you know, if you achieve this goal, you can go and get yourself a cake or something, you know. So that also, yeah, worked for me quite a few times. Um, and yeah, so also very often, you know, like when you go to an event or a private view and you want to connect with the gallery owner or a curator or I don't know, like a speaker, and then very often, you know, like they're busy with talking to other people. So I always try, if I want to connect with this person, I very often, yeah, when I'm just about to leave, I try to just like come very closely, will approach them very quickly, and then just say, "Oh, by the way, congratulations! The show was just amazing." And then you can just basically leave. So it's all about them remembering your face. So then, you know, like next time you see each other in a different situation, perhaps like more relaxed, you can say, "Oh, I saw your exhibition. I said, you know, congratulations." and then you can start conversation, like asking also what are you working now on. So yeah, so even like you sometimes also don't want to interrupt the conversation that the person that you want to connect to is having at the event, but like you can just approach them very quickly, say, oh, congratulations, and yeah, that should be completely okay. It's just about them remembering your face. And then bring flowers. So I'm from Poland, and in our country, it's quite common that we just give each other flowers whenever we're celebrating something or when you're visiting each other at our houses. But like it's a very nice gesture, and like you can just even get very cheap ones. It really doesn't matter. It's just about like giving something to the person that you want to connect to. Plus, because yeah, I just hate like not knowing anyone at the event. So, but when you do have flowers, it means that you just have to find this one person that you want to connect to. So then straight away you will start a conversation of like, oh my god, yeah, like it was great. And then like when the conversation is starting to be like awkward, then you can just say, oh, so I'm going to see the exhibition, and then yeah, I will catch you later. So yeah, so it's just no, you will just have a reason to find this one person that you want to connect to. And then also like in England, it's not that popular to actually give flowers to each other. So when I actually do it, everyone's like, oh, that's so thoughtful of you. So it's always super nice. Um,
We
so
uh, we give brown cheese to each other.
oh yeah, okay. Oh really?
It's kidding.
I've never had it before, so
It'd be a start of something new. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, another thing arrived shortly after the show opens. Um, like very often in the first even a few minutes, probably the curator or some of the organizer will be still like running around and then finishing last things. But yeah, after like 10 or 15 minutes, I think they should, like calm down, and they will also have time to actually talk to people. So yeah, so I would always recommend, like if the thing is opening at 6, then arrive at like 6:10 if you really want to have a chance to talk to this person. Plus, if it's a an exhibition opening, then you will actually have a chance to see the art. And then, once you do, then you can have a conversation with the artist, actually, yeah, talking about what you saw rather than like screaming to each other, because, there are like a lot of people at the space talking. Um, yeah, so this is also a strategy that really worked for me. I mean, I'm coming from like a slightly different position because I'm like a curator and a critic. However, I also know that some of the artists managed to connect with the gallery owners through this strategy. So yeah, so very often I check on the Instagram if the gallery is going to be open the next day. But like I'm talking over here about like medium level galleries. So yeah, so if you know that the gallery is going to be open the next day, you can still message them on Instagram and ask if it's going to be open. So like obviously they will say yes. So but they will also know that you're going to come the next day. So like they will just expect you, and we can just have a more this has worked for me. You have it's like more like relaxed conversation. Plus, if you do message them, then very often they will also take a look at your Instagram, so they will straight away know like what you do and what your art is. So if you do not manage to come to the opening of the show, then I always recommend coming the next day, but like within an hour or two after the show is open once again, because then the curator or the gallery owner will still have strength to talk about the show, and they will be still quite excited about the opening. So and then yeah, again, like you can message them in advance asking if it's open or if they're like what time they're coming. Mm. And then another one, yeah, post on social media that you attended a show or the event. And then also remember about tagging people, because they will also receive a notification that that you've been over there, that you tagged them, that you posted about their event, and then they will also take a look at your profile. So yeah, so again, it's not really about like being super straightforward and then sending your portfolio or like the link to your social media to the curator or the gallery owner, or like whoever you want to connect to. But it's more about showing that you support them and that you've been there and that you care about what they do. Ask questions. This is really what worked for me. Like people very often enjoy talking about themselves, and especially curators. So yeah, they very often. I would say that this is what I saw mostly with male curators. They really like to talk about themselves. So yeah, I would say, yeah, well, the same as with the second tip, like be curious and ask questions. But I thought that I will perhaps just like give you some examples of what kind of questions you might ask, because sometimes like you just don't really know. Yeah, so how did you first become interested in like the area that the person is exploring? Like what inspired you to put up this show? How did you find the space, especially if the space is in a quite unique location? Then I'm pretty sure there is some kind of like history, story behind it. And also yes, how the project started, how the audience reacts to the show, and yeah, whether they're working on any other projects. And then like very often in that conversation, I'm pretty sure that someone will ask also like, okay, so what do you do? And very often when you do want to connect with someone, then perhaps you might have similar topics addressing in your work. Yeah, so you can say, yeah, I'm particularly interested in this topic, and then I've been working on this idea. And then very often at this point you can ask them the advice. So yeah, like, can you please tell me who else do you think I can approach, or do you think that there is an organization that is that is addressing similar topics? So I would say ask questions, and then I'm pretty sure that the person later on will also ask you about what you do. Yeah, and offer your help and share your skills. And this is also something that we talked about last time. Like very often the most effective networking strategies is offering your assistance or your support. And I guess it really works. Instead of like asking for the opportunities, I would say give something first. Offer your skills and the knowledge, and then assistance in other stuff. But like this can foster like an authentic connections and mutual support. And like very often I'm pretty sure that a lot of people say, oh yeah, no, like I completely like I can do all of this stuff alone. But just showing that you are there for them, that you can support them, that that's also like a very human thing to do, and then show that you're just genuinely interested in what they do. But also something that really worked for me is think that you do want to learn from them. And like someone who you really enjoy, someone who you really admire and you want to professionally connect to. Consider letting them know that you would really like to help them as their assistants. But then I would also say that like once they say yes, then really commit to actually helping them with what they ask. Because I had a few situations when someone way younger wanted to learn from me, and then when I gave them the task, they they worked on it slightly, but then after a while they just dropped it. So I also know that, you know, very often when you sometimes do not get paid, you know, it's a slightly different dynamic, but you know, very often after a while, even when you're an unpaid intern, it's very possible that this position can change into a paid role, because also like if you grow with this other person, you're like very often they might have more opportunities also for you to develop with them. And yeah, don't be also afraid to ask for help. So I would say, you know, like once you know someone for a bit, yeah, do not be afraid to ask for help and for their opinion, or like yeah, to help you edit your text, or like recommend someone. So you know, I heard that a lot of people say that the art world is very toxic, but I've met so many amazing people who they just wanted to help me, and but also because I just talk to them about what I'm actually struggling with, and then very often they were just happy to answer. I can see that there is either a question. So she mentioned,
Shall I read it out?
yeah, yes, please, yeah.
Since you mentioned connecting with galleries, curators, and RSVPing on Instagram, I am curious. Have you noticed a shift away from Meta-owned platforms lately? I know many artists don't feel like supporting them longer with their data. Does it make sense to invest in establishing a profile somewhere else like Blue Sky?
Uh, to be fair, I don't really know Blue Sky. Like, I don't know if it's a thing that you use in Norway, but I see that a lot of people in England, they're starting to use newsletters once again. So like later on, yeah, I will also talk about like social media, but um, yeah, the algorithm really changes almost all the time. So I would say that building community is extremely important. Um, yeah, well, I will answer this question like in a bit. I think actually in the next few slides. Um, and this is also something that um, you know, like very often at the beginning, I also wasn't sure, you know, like whether I should like shake someone's hand or hug, or you know, like there was always this like awkwardness when I was just entering like the professional art world. But I would say that hugging other people is also a very professional thing. You know, like your warmth and calmness and friendliness, like this is something that you know attracts people, and you know they would just enjoy your company. And you know, like there are so many different um, like connected data that you know hugging reduces the stress, you know, like boosts mood and then build stronger relationships. So then like once I had actually a mentoring session with an artist who actually looked pretty scary, like wearing only black clothes and then having tattoos and like piercing everywhere. And then he was also making very dark art, like a lot of blood and yeah, just like weird stuff over there. Yeah, but like when we met, like I thought, okay, I would just hug this person. Like I'm not going to like to judge them by how they look. And they were so surprised, and they said like no one actually do it to him, but he found it as a very, you know, like an act of like kindness and friendliness. So yeah, so I would say like yeah, don't be afraid to just hug people when you like saying goodbye, like even when you're having like a brief conversation at the private view, and you just feel like there is something, you know, like nice happening between the two of you, just like hug them, like don't think about it, just do it. uh,
Unless there's a pandemic, of course.
no, yeah, of course, yeah, but like hopefully that will not come back.
Yeah, can I just I'm going to post something in the chat here, which is in Norwegian for the
Mhm.
Norwegian followers today, which is something that's on our website, which is basically I'll try to translate it 10 tips on how to get in touch with the gallery.
Mm.
I'll just post that for people to read if they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, that's very nice. So you said that it's not in English. Okay, I'll ask someone to translate it.
Yeah, I can translate it for you, no problem.
Oh,
Can I just say to what you've also said, because I asked around with a lot of gallerists in around Norway, some advice, and someone said that never bring your portfolio to a vernissage,
mm,
an opening, because some artists do that, and when you're a stressed gallerist and you don't want to focus on anything but the artist currently exhibiting. So that's
yeah, yeah,
it's quite basic, but it's not always easy to understand.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I had quite a few situations when someone was approaching me and they were saying, "Oh, like we know each other from Instagram, like we chatted over there a few times," um, and very often I just like whether perhaps like they didn't have a photo of on their Instagram or I just don't remember. So that was like yeah, I had quite a few awkward situations. But very often I just in this kind of situations I like when the person just like show me their Instagram just like as a reminder for me. But yeah, but just approaching a curator and then just showing them, hey, this is my portfolio. Like I'm yeah, they're not there to take a look, to search for like new artists. It's like a celebration of what of what they've done. Um, yeah, and like with this shift, yeah, we are now going to talk about yeah social media and in how to um, yeah in how to promote your art. Guide the main objective is to attract people to your profile, um, so that they can just explore your content. And like last week we talked about what you can post on your social media, yeah, how to present it. So if you missed it, it's on the YouTube channel. um, and yeah, you can just watch it as it was recorded. Um, so this is also something that really worked for me. So yeah, dedicate one day each month to plan your social media. Just because like sometimes you just don't want to think about it every single week, but you do want to be consistent. Also because yeah, social media, like if you're not active perhaps like on the same hours, the same days, they like perhaps the Instagram or like the social media will just not catch um yeah like your consistency, I guess. So and then very often yeah, when you're using scheduling tools, also this the algorithm um thinks that you are like a bot or that you're not actually a real person. So very often, if I'm preparing like a separate marketing strategy, then very often, yeah, I prepare like all of the posts in the drafts, and then I just set the alarm to just remind me, and then I post it there. Um, but then, yeah, I would say that I know that it's very difficult to just start with social media, and sometimes you just don't really know like how many times you should do it. But I would say just start from like even one post per week or twice per week, and that would just also allow you to become more comfortable with posting. Um, so this is something that's so yeah, whenever I work with a new artist, we work on the bio statement, and then we also work on social media. So I create this kind of plan for them, and then yeah, we just figured out what kind of things we need to prepare to actually achieve their goal. And like you can just very simply just do it in the Excel. Like I tried the different paid applications, and to be fair, Excel was just working for me the most. Plus, it was free. Uh, yeah, and then supporting others is the best promotional strategy. Uh, Yeah, so let's say that, for example, you want to connect with a specific curator and they just opened a show. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, take a photo and then post it on your Instagram. But yeah, remember to tag them. Um, but you can also, so to be slightly more cheeky, I would say go to one of the artists that is exhibiting at this gallery. Go and repost one of their posts, because it's also very likely that the curator will actually also see that that you reposted it. So as I mentioned, like it's very important um, to show yourself to these people that you want to connect to in different situations. Um, yeah. Mm. So yeah, so on Instagram there are quite a few different ways in how you can be on top of the things. Also because these days, well, as you know, the algorithm is just it's not really, in our favor, especially on for the artworks. Um, so if you go to someone's profile and then click like the following, then you will see that you can press the star thing, and then also um, you can turn on the notification. So like every time when this person will be posting, like you can straight away get the notification, and you can like and post and comment underneath their um, yeah, their post. Yeah, another strategy to become, yeah, visible to these people, like whatever story they're posting, yeah, always like their story, so that again, like you will be at the top of their list. Yeah, so I guess like these are just quite simple ways of becoming visible to these people. Um, yeah, well, commenting, and also, yeah, sending DMs, comment on their content. Um, like very often, even for people who are like more established, very often social media just feels like they're posting and no one is actually listening to it. So commenting, like even if you're going to post, I don't know, emoji in their comments, but you're going to do it like every time when they're posting, it will just show them that you see their posts. And then also, you can definitely send them a DM if you want to start a conversation with them. But I mean, yeah, I'm talking about, yeah, like low level, like medium level galleries, or like curators, or people who are just like starting their careers, or like they're developing, because it's very likely, like if you message Hans, I'm not sure if it's going to answer, but it really works for yeah, like medium level professionals. uh, and that's also something that, yeah, like starting conversation is very important. So yeah, when someone likes your story, and you think that they might be yeah, like interesting person, or someone you want to connect to, you can also straight away send them like a thank you. Yeah, thank you for liking my story, and this is also, a way to start the conversation. So yeah, ask like, okay, so like, why did you like it, like what do you think about it? And because of that, yeah, they will, because like with the stories, these are the people who are already in your community, or like your followers. But because of the algorithm, very often they might not see actually your post. So in this way, they might actually, yeah, like click your profile and go and see yeah, things that you've been doing. Another thing that really worked for me is sending people thank you for following me message. And then, yeah, whenever I was working, for example, on developing my newsletter, or yeah, I wanted to direct people to my website, then yeah, I was saying, oh, thank you so much for following me. I absolutely love what you do. By the way, if you're interested, I'm preparing my new newsletter. Would you like me to put you on my mailing list? and yeah, very often people say, yeah, so yeah, like connecting with them just like by starting conversation. Thank you for following me. That really works. Yeah, and this one is yeah, is for people who are interested in selling their work. Yeah, creating the urgency for limited time, like limited availability. um, yeah, so let's say that you have a quite, big collection of the works that you want to sell, and then yeah, they're, let's say, like quite reasonably um, priced. So in your social media, like you can be posting, hey, by the way, like yeah, I have these like five prints, and then yeah, after a few hours, oh, this one was sold. So even if you like don't actually want to sell this piece, you can just keep it. But yeah, I'm like, there is like some people say like bullshit your way up. So like sometimes even if that might not be true that you sold something, it will just show people that there is something happening around your work and that other people are interested in it. uh, yeah, always have a photo of yourself on your social media. Like I just said, I had quite a few situations where like people were just approaching me and then saying that we've had a chat together on Instagram, but like yeah, I might know their practice, but I've never seen them. I don't know how they look. So and it really helps because even yeah, when sometimes yeah, I might know someone's practice and then I know their face and I do want to connect with them, so it's just easier for me to yeah, to just know who they are, I guess, when I do want to approach them in the real world. So I don't. It's a quite new thing on Instagram. The podcast channels. I don't know if now everyone also has them, but you can create on your Instagram the broadcast channel, and it means that so when you do create it, all of your followers will get a notification that you're inviting them to join, and you can just yeah, send their updates about yeah, your practice or like yeah, work in progress or announcement. So you might use it slightly similar to a newsletter, but just people will get messages in their DM. So whenever you post one thing like information about your upcoming show, all of the people who joined your broadcast channel will receive it, so that you don't have to send them um, separate DMs. Uh, and now we'll talk about promoting your events. And even though it might not feel like it's a big thing, but I always get very frustrated when I'm working a lot on promoting a show that I work with like, I don't know, 5 or like 10 artists, and they don't do anything. But yeah, collaborate with the organizations or spaces that already attract the audience that you want to reach. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to that you must be already like familiar with this organization, but yeah, have a think about like, let's say that you make art about the environmental issues, so perhaps your art might be actually maybe more accessible for like charities that work in a specific area, because they will already have audience that cares about your work. Yeah, but I wanted to show you some examples. So yeah, Sebastian Coseda's fully detached exhibition at the Sarah Kravitz Gallery in London last year. It was addressing the crisis people. It's not only in England. I'm pretty sure that it's in many different countries now. But yeah, it addresses the crisis when people face during the rise of living costs, but then also the crisis of how expensive the houses are now. Um, yeah, so he in his exhibition text he wrote, Last year, people were worried about heating their homes. This year, people are worried about having homes. So one of the pieces that he prepared for this exhibition was a bench filled with the anti-homeless spikes. So like yeah, there are benches, and very often like the public spaces are designed in the way that like homeless people cannot sleep on them. But like rather than presenting these works in a poor area where such realities are just part of the daily life and the people who live over there. The decision to showcase these pieces in a very polished neighborhoods, it was deliberate. In these wealthy areas, people who have power to influence this policy and economics are often shielded from the struggles people face in precarious living conditions. So placing these harsh truths, in direct view of the people who live in these more expensive areas, it forced them to confront this crisis that they often just ignore. So this is why like the choice to show social problems in this just perfect white cube, it really created a quite important conversation. And then another one, it happened a few months ago. It was an exhibition, Irish art now in the Irish embassy in London. So it aimed to highlight emerging talents, Irish talents in the UK art scene. And the program included a panel discussion that examined like evolving narratives and the challenges that the Irish artists are facing in the UK. So because of that, because they were working with the embassy, it also the art is also part of the culture. So in many instances, like showing to people who do have power about helping others. It just created a very interesting conversation about what you can actually do to help people from different parts of the world. And this one was also quite unique. So Mathilde created this poetry piece in a toilet of the art scrap. So she's very interested in in this fleeting and like unexpected intimate encounters in these inconvenient spaces. So like when you were entering, you would hear her reading her poetry, and the lights. It just created this like weird atmosphere. But like when you were entering this space, like you straight away were like looking at other people, and like there was this connection through art. So like thinking about different spaces that actually they don't have to be in the white cube. I thought that was great. Create a marketing plan in advance. This should be like clear defined goals, and then key dates and the types of content that you want to share, and having the structured approach really helps to maintain the consistency, and then also reduce the stress that you actually don't need when you will be preparing the physical elements of the exhibition. So this is how my planning look like. I'm quite particular with just having every single thing planned in advance. And then so like in the marketing, write press release, put together the press pack, update website, and the physical, yeah, print poster, hang poster, and like it's just it's for some it might feel like it's too much, but I just really enjoy to be yeah prepared for from everything so that I don't forget. And in the social media, so this particular marketing kit was prepared for like a collaboration between a group of curators and the it was called the Southwark Park Galleries. Yeah, so I separated, you know, the things that we as curators have to post on our social media, and then what the gallery needs to also post on them. Yeah, so I yeah, whenever I create a strategy, I also really want people to hear about the exhibition or like the event in as many different ways as possible. So yeah, inviting, you know, the curators to write something about them, or yeah, like people who are participating in it. Yeah, no, announcing the event, and then, you know, having a thank you post. um yeah, it's always very useful to, yeah, just allow people to learn about the event in as many ways as possible. Also, yeah, as I mentioned, the algorithm is not it's not great, and like depending on the thing that you like, the image that you're posting, the social media might push it more or less. um so feel free to like yeah, copy whatever I was showing over here. It might be very helpful for you to do it for your next exhibition. Yeah, start talking about your project as soon as the space is confirmed. And like ideally, it would be like 3 months in advance to build this kind of anticipation and excitement. Um, so for one show, I did, yeah, like a lot of different hints. So yeah, posting that I visited the space with the artist, or then I was meeting with the technician to measure everything. You know, also showing how I was preparing the physical invitations, talking about the concept in advance. And also when I started sending invitations to people, they were also resharing it in their stories. Um, yeah, I will just quickly talk about this one, and then we can have a break. But I don't have like too much to talk about. But I also really recommend mentioning in your bio like the next exhibitions that you're going to participate in. Just because like when you're posting a lot of posts, then, you know, like people might just yeah, miss that announcement of it. So yeah, I would recommend putting the information in your bio. um, and then Josh, he was giving an interview to one magazine, and yeah, like when the person asked him like, "What are you working now on?" Yeah, he also mentioned the exhibition that is going to happen with me. And then when I was, yeah, installing the exhibition with artists, so there are like so many different ways in how you can promote your work, but like, yeah, it's building this anticipation for people to just learn about what you're going to prepare. Okay, yeah, so I can stop now, and then we can have a small break, but I have only a few more things to talk about.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I did an AI translation of the
Oh,
text.
nice.
Getting in touch with the it's in the chat. If people want to
Oh,
have a look. So it's, shall we see in like 6 minutes, 3 o'clock
yeah,
or two
yeah, yeah.
o'clock GMT. Okay,
Okay,
see
yeah.
you in a bit.
Bye.
We are back. This final.
Yeah, I have only a few more. Sure.
Start when you like.
Yeah, so very often artists ask me like how they can approach critics and yeah, like journalists, uh, and unfortunately, I would say that a lot of the reviews that are published in magazines, they are already um, pre um, they're very often paid, or if they're not paid, then very often the gallery is just approaching the critic. You can still send information about your upcoming shows to the critics or journalists, but I would really recommend just focusing on people who you know. So let's say that you have, I don't know, exhibition of like 20 people, and then I'm pretty sure that at least one of them know a curator, a critic, a gallery owner, or like the director of some kind of organizations. And very often these are the people who wants to support you. So I mean, I just know that it might take such a long time to go through all of the names that are writing for different magazines. So like in terms of where to invest your time, I would say like even go through for your followers on Instagram, and then just take a look at who is following you or who you are following. And I would say you can even just send them an invitation on their DMs. Yeah, so sending individual invitations to the event and the exhibition. So yeah, so whenever it's a project out of my pure passion, I always try to have physical invitations. Also because this culture, is slightly dying. But whenever a person receives a personal invitation, then it also adds a lot to the experience. And very often, especially when the exhibition is like somewhere like the transport to the space might not be very easy. The invitation can be like an extension of the exhibition. So let's say that you have a similar in the similar style um, invitation as to the poster, and perhaps you might using the same font. So yeah, perhaps even if the person cannot come, but they will already have like this small idea of what the exhibition is going to be about. So for my latest exhibition, like this one was like 2023, but for my latest exhibition, one of the artists created a scent. So we also sprayed the invitation with it. So like when the person was opening the invitation, they could smell how the exhibition will also smell. And yeah, like a lot of them weren't able to come, but yeah, they were just able to experience slightly the exhibition. Plus, like I also sometimes receive invitations where people actually write, "Oh, I would like to invite you, Sophie, to the exhibition or the event," and like it will. Yeah, I think it's just all about considering where to put your where to invest your time. And you might consider paying for the advertisement, but I would say just like buy a nice quality paper, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. Buy some stamps and then just write to people. Plus when you'll be approaching them and asking for their address, and like some of them will say, oh, I prefer just like an email. So then straight away you also have their emails, and in the future you can just invite them. This is something that a lot of artists actually don't do, so I really wanted to post it over here. Yeah, when a curator, or when you are in the group show, or even when you're in the group show, just post about it on your social media, like the poster. about it. Yeah, you can also just pin it at the you know, like the front of your Instagram. uh yeah, share your exhibition poster. Like, you really, I just get not like upset, but you know, like very often as a creator, I just really work on you know, like preparing different stories and posts, and then I see that, you know, even though like the artist might be happy with the outcome, but you know, like the more people share about it, the more people will learn about it as well. So again, yeah, share a poster on your social media, and then tag participants and organizations, because then, you know, like whenever in the future someone will be, you know, checking someone's Instagram, and then they might, you know, tap on the where this person is tagged, so then, you know, they'll be also able to see your post. So again, it's about bringing other people to your profile, and yeah, these are like different strategies. Yeah, repost others posts and stories about the event in your social media. So this is something I also mentioned in the previous section about social media, but yeah, just, you know, you just want to show people that you also support them, so it's very likely that people who you supported will also support you back. um yeah, if possible, have the exhibition open for at least 2 weeks, and then keep it open until 7 p.m. Like, you can also, so in England at least, very often the galleries are open like from 10 until or 11 until very often 6. But when you're just creating your like a pop-up, it's completely okay to have it like open like even from 1 or from 2. But I really recommend having it open until 7, because very often, you know, like normal jobs, they might start from like 7, from like 9 until 5 or until 6. So you also want people who have normal jobs to come to your exhibition. So just having it open slightly longer, that's always very beneficial. And then yeah, have it, if it's possible, you know, have it open for at least 2 weeks, because very often also people will learn about your show like after the private view, and very often they already have plans for like the next 4 days. So yeah, so allow them to actually learn about the exhibition like a few days after the show, and then yeah, have it open for slightly longer. Yeah, organize panel discussion as part of your events. Well, panel discussion can also help you, you know, deepen the audience engagement, and you know, like sometimes people might not be able to come to the private view, or feel that private view you know, might be too chaotic, or you know, they're not actually able to talk to the artist or to see the art. So perhaps consider having a panel discussion or like an artist talk like at the end of the exhibition that you're organizing. Plus to the panel discussions, you know, you can also invite like specialists from the field that you're you know, addressing. So you know, like let's say a feminism, and then you know, you might be able to invite someone who wrote about feminism. So you know, panel discussions can be also beneficial for other professionals from like from yeah, the field that you're also addressing in your art. um yeah, this is something that a lot of people are quite reluctant, but you can post photos of your artworks in advance. So very often when I go to get invitations for an exhibition, and like I can see the poster, and then I can see a list of the art, yeah, artists who are participating, but you know, like probably I'm not going to research, you know, like the artworks that are going to show. So it's completely okay to show the process of making the artwork for the exhibition, and then showing the final piece that is going to be presented, just because this is something that may actually attract people to come to the exhibition. or if they cannot come to your show, then they can have, you know, just like a preview of what there will be happening. So yeah, so this is something that also might help you get some more emails, so that like in the future you can you know, send them invitation. But also it's quite nice to hear others' thoughts, or like read other people's thoughts, and then you know, reading their feedback, and then also like creating a sense of community between people who actually came, and then yeah, encourage your audience to subscribe to your newsletter or broadcast channel. So like yeah, updating your subscribers about your upcoming projects and events, and behind the scenes insights, you know, might be just very helpful when Instagram is just not showing your post to others for like different reasons. So it's like having the direct like line of communication can foster deeper yeah, relationship, and then also yeah, allow people to just be yeah, updated with what you, and also yeah, like last week we talked about yeah, how often to update your portfolio, and then how often you can send it to you can say yeah, the updated one to curators. And so this is something that I always really appreciate here, receiving either, you know, an updated portfolio or yeah, a newsletter from the artist, so that I just know what's happening in their life. Yeah, when participating in a show, make an effort to spend as much time at the site as possible. So, I mean, yeah, getting the feedback, but also just seeing how people react to it. Like very often, as an artist, you might feel like you cannot have a conversation with anyone about your art, or like people don't actually see your art. So being on the site and actually listening how people how they are just impressed with your art, that really helps, even like with your mental health. um and even yeah, for me as a curator, you know, like just being over there and then hearing just all of these like amazing things about the artist that I work with, it's just great. And like I can just tell the artist about it, but you just hearing it by yourself, that's always such a like magical experience. Um, so this is also something, yeah, how you can promote your art outside the online space. You can approach your local businesses and cafes and community centers, yeah, to display your poster. So for so what I managed to do a few times was to yeah, approach local businesses, but they were, for example, selling yeah, like wine or like beer or yeah, some kind of snacks. But just because they were quite small and they were local, but they already had, you know, a community that were either like more sophisticated, or they were also promoting the exhibition for me. So yeah, so there are like just different approaches, and you can, you know, just be as creative and approach as many different businesses as you want. Yeah, take charge of promoting your work, and don't rely on other people to do it. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, like as a curator or as a manager, I always try to do everything in my power to allow people to learn about what I do. And I know that also, you know, like people have different approaches to social media, and you know, like sometimes it just feels like you need a break from it. But the more people learn about the exhibition, the more you know, the better, basically. So yeah, at least post the poster on your social media. Yeah, because very often I get frustrated with it. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for listening. And then I hope that you found the tips useful. And then the same as last time, like just feel free to message me on Instagram and then I would be very happy to answer any of your other questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sophie. I'm sure there will be a few questions popping up. And by the way, it was interesting what you said about being staying in your own exhibition and speaking to visitors. On Threads, there was an image today about this woman who posted she had a concert yesterday, and no one showed up. So it's just her alone in like this space. But it got like 6,000 likes. This photograph. So she kind of turned it around and became a success. So she's probably going to get a lot of followers now.
Yeah. Oh wow. I mean, yeah, that's yeah, I guess that's the power of social media, you know, like well, also I think, yeah, we talked about it last time, the documentation of the exhibition is so important because like, yeah, you know, it's way more likely that more people will see your work on Instagram, like social media or Threads, rather than in real life, even though, you know, like experiencing art in real life, like you cannot experience art online in the same way as you do in real life. But see, like even getting, you know, just like photographing the details of your work or yeah, recording yourself talking about it might really help, you know, make the art accessible to people. Yeah.
Really like what you said about having business cards, because I don't think it's that common. Not here in Norway or in other places for artists. I think it's really important. And
Yeah.
I remember this story I heard about this guy this artist who had his business cards, and he made everyone with a hole in them.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone's asked him, "Do you have a business card?" He said, "Yeah." Stick out your finger, and then he would sort of plant it on, and he'd say, "Now you remember me for the rest of your life."
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I went.
Also, I think a lot of artists could make really beautiful business cards. You know, with
Yeah,
make them yourself, and then it doesn't
yeah,
have to cost that much to print them. You know, basically.
yeah. I saw one, and that was actually one of the art fairs. There was a girl who was like, she was making amazing drawings. So she actually like every one of her business cards, like it was actually handmade. So you also had, yeah, and I think that can work for a lot of business cards. I think that, you know, if you're like desperate and you don't have money, but you know, it might be like a piece of the artwork. If you're like a painter, for example, you can just paint the business cards yourself. So yeah, it's just something unique. um yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you can buy a stamp with your name on it, basically.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just very easy. Yeah.
So if, as I said in the start, there is you can ask questions if you like in the chat, raise hand, or the Q&A. Otherwise, this will be available on Visp Kunst YouTube channel forever and ever, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I don't think there are any questions here.
Okay.
Any final words? London.
Good question. I mean, I'm just very grateful that I was able to share, you know, the things that I also that things that helped me. And I think there are just a lot of amazing people who will be also happy to share their thoughts and their skills with others. Yeah, so I'm very happy that I was able to talk to also, you know, people from the other parts of the world about it.
Yeah, you did get some feedback on Instagram on your
Yes, yeah.
account. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always very nice to yeah, just have like a also personal conversation about it later on with the artist. Yeah.
I can say a final word, and that is don't be afraid of curator or galleries, because they want you to be a success. They want you to, you know, they're not sort of them come off as arrogant or offish, but it's not. They're just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I also know quite a few artists who actually did start to collaborate with the curator when they sent them their portfolio through email. But also don't be don't think that they are assholes just because they don't answer you. Like sometimes they just get so many emails that they just cannot answer like every one of them.
I've also made on Visp on our website Visp.no I also made the English version of how to get in touch with the gallery. That's the translated version is on that link that's in the chat as well. Okay, let me just quickly see this. Maybe one question.
I love it. Handmade business cards are also okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say so. I think so. One of the strategies actually that I really want to try in the future in one of the exhibitions. So yeah, like one of the galleries just approached me like recently, and they were like, "Yeah, you have 2 weeks to organize a show." And you might think about like what would attract people, and sometimes they are like free prints or like free artworks. So I really want in the future to ask the artists, especially if that's going to be a solo show, to like create like a massive canvas or like put the pages on the floor and then just like make an abstract painting, then just like cut them and then say that like first 30 people will get this unique artwork for free. And it doesn't have to, you don't have to spend too much money in it. So handmade things are completely okay. I think they create even
an idea I had last year was a few months back was artists should start making like bands have touring t-shirts.
Yeah.
Especially to like a particular exhibition, you should have like make 200 t-shirts.
Yeah.
It would be merch and you could sell it for like 40
pounds.
Yeah. Maybe unique, be something with your artwork, just saying it's a new approach, but it's something you could do.
Yeah, I know quite a few artists who sell prints. The prints of the painting, for example, but then they add like some additional like details to each print. So then they're also unique. But like about the t-shirts, so you remember like at the end, I think of the last year, there was this like massive tour of the comedian artwork, so like the banana on the wall. So it was on a tour between like different countries and different cities. And I love conceptual art, and like regardless of what I think about this artwork, I really wanted to see it. So I just ran before. I was actually putting up a show, but I thought, okay, I actually need to see it. So like at 9 a.m. I was just in front of the art house. So I entered. I looked at the banana, like it was a quite interesting experience. But basically, I didn't know that the first 50 people will receive a free T-shirt. So so I was actually the first one to receive it. It was such a bizarre situation. But that was also their marketing, I guess, to get more people. So it actually looked like a poster that the band will be like in the city on this day, and this is exactly like with this artwork. That was just very interesting.
It's one should approach it with a sense of humor and not being just easygoing if you want to attract an audience. I think the artwork can be as important as it like, but how you speak to the audience doesn't have to be like that. Okay. I just want to say thank you yet again, Sophie. It's been brilliant. Maybe there will be an artist career number 3 sometime in the future if there's more to talk about. I don't know. But so great having you here.
Thank you so much once again for inviting me.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who was watching.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.